Hey everyone, this is JesterMan7 doing the third intro video. This time it is against IS, otherwise known as Iron Fist Stronghold. What we are basically doing in this one is using a Skizik battle group to take them on. As an intro and tutorial to Iron Fist Stronghold, a couple things to noted for is one is their strong defense. Most of their guys will have strong defenses and immunities, which can become a real pain when you're trying to physically attack them and stuff like that. So you definitely have to avoid that. Another thing they're known for is they have some very good spells. A couple things to look at which we probably won't see, but that you'll want to look out for later on, is that they have Blink, which removes your character from play, which basically means that, and then if they have a relic or just keep the same champion there, that person cannot come back into play for the rest of the time, which can be very annoying. Also, they have the spell which enables them to transfer random font, which if they use at the beginning of the game means basically any open font. So those are two quick spells off the bat that can become a pain. They also have a lot of impenetrables and a lot of immunities. What they don't have is a lot of the high damage that you see with some of the other factions. So now, with what to do with the Skizik, is they rely on power turns a lot, which basically means get a bunch of guys in one area to an opponent, use quickening, which allows everyone to attack twice, to decimate the opponent in one turn. It sounds easier than it is, of course, because you need to have multiple people at the time. And then, as far as if you play against the Skizik, that also means don't allow your opponent to get a bunch of people around you. Which means if you have to use a special ability or a spell or some extra in order to kill some guys at the end of a turn, you do it. Because you don't want them to use their quickening or quicken. Quicken is just like quickening, except when applied to Skizik, they basically get a massive Nora refund, which is not good for you. The good thing about the Skizik is that they have a lot of blocks and regeneration, of course, which means that their melee people are very strong. They're probably one of the most divided as far as actual melee to range, because if you get a Wrecker or a Resilient Skizik, they can definitely hold out, but their melee champs are very weak. So keep that in mind if you're trying to use, for example, the Alchemist here or the Mage. Basically what I'm trying to do now is just secure one font. I'm going to cast Waylay here, which means that whenever they come into my territory, I get a free guy. So you can't complain about that. Which is why, going back to the first video, as I mentioned, you want to put a relic down instead of just running into everyone's shrine. So put him there in order to prevent it. Attack, he'll do 8. Let these guys attack. Once again, just like all the other intros, is that this initial level is not very difficult as far as the opponent types that you face. It just kind of gives you an introduction to the type of guys that you will face. You got your High Masons with 3 defense, Drunken Thug with Resilient and a lot of health. You get the Dwarven Defender. You can see they only did 3 damage to my resilient Skizek, who's going to recover 6 every turn. And then because of the waylay, I get my Skizek Ruffian. So, I'll take that all day. Skizek Netters can be a great bargain or not. The one thing is that they have Surge Skizek, so they gain 1 for every Skizek that you have. But without that, they aren't very powerful. But as you can see, mine has 16 damage. So obviously that one is powerful. He only has 13 damage left. We're going to have to wait until the next turn for now. Unless we can move him. There we go. Now one of them down. Move the rest of the guys up a little bit here. I like Resilient Skizek a lot for kind of melee defensive tank guys. And he has good starting damage, good starting health. He has the surge. He's resilient. It's kind of hard to beat when you're talking about cheap, free guys. Let them do their thing. The good thing about this level, and it's kind of annoying actually, is they'll spawn their guys right on the abyss area, so you'll get a bunch of easy ones that way. I'm just gonna go straight for them. Now obviously if you play in ranked play, your opponent will not be stupid enough to just throw them into the abyss. So that's where this one's kind of flawed, I will admit. Go ahead and get our Wilder guy out. Might as well throw the War Mage out there. If you do play a Skizek deck, I strongly suggest putting a Wilder and or a War Mage in there for the alt damage and range, because that's definitely where the Skizek lack the most. You don't see a lot of Skizek in meta, but obviously, like anything, they can do it if you play it right. It's just harder than most. But because of the different alt damage and the little bit of range that the other Skizek don't give you, makes them a great choice. The Cannoneer's range, but he moves back, so it's a little more unstable compared to if you can just get a good magic guy going. Go ahead and let them come super close to my record, but he can't attack, so and go ahead and use Quicken on him so we can attack twice. Another thing you'll have to look out for when you play actual IS is constructs. As you can see, they have a lot of resistances. Resist physical 50%, immunity to poison, immunity to disease. Those things can definitely make it a pain in the butt to play against. Which is why IS is probably straightforward one of the best protector it wants to play as. In case you don't know, Negation Mage can be charged so that he makes it so your opponent can't use spells, I believe, when he has 6 charges. So that's a great thing to have. That's why I put him out so early. And of course they're using quite a bit of range. You'll see your Dwarven Defender, who is kind of a Dwarf Warrior, got some defense and stuff like that, resists physical. They got the Construct, they got the little bit of range guy going on, the Iron Fist Glider, who's nothing special. Just waiting for them to go so that we can start going forward. The one thing this level will teach you is to use different forms of attacks and or spells because of all the physical resistance. Just move most of my guys forward so they can start attacking next turn because the double quickens will help a lot. If you're a Sunderlands player, please use Tornado in your deck. I know a lot of people use the Fire Blast one or whatever it's called, but that is not good because you're going to be going against a lot more immunity type people and a lot more UD people that rely on fire, like Fire Eater and such. If you use Tornado, which is about the exact same cost, it does 12 physical damage, 20 damage to relics, grounds people. I mean, there's no reason not to use Tornado instead, so please use Tornado. We'll get the Negation Mage set up. Basically all setting up for the next turn where I can just dominate and completely destroy him. The only thing that does kind of stink about SL Skizik deck is that they don't really have any kind of special tricks up their sleeve. What you see is basically what you get. Quicken here is one of the most special that you're going to get. They also have Cancel Magic, which can help out, but I don't use it that much. Skizik can also make a great 2 vs 2 battle group if played right, because of all the Surge Skiziks, which is a very common sub-theme within them. You can see that this AI on this level is not very aggressive compared to some of the others. And they're just kind of sitting back, letting us beat them so far, but it does give you a good example of what champions to use, and most importantly, what kind of champions not to use against them. Go ahead and use Quicken. You'll see he'll attack twice. Quickening can definitely be deadly when used properly, which is why you really have to look out for it when you're playing against it. If you're playing for it and can get it to work in your favor, all the good luck, because then you can just dominate attacking twice every turn. And that's this level down. Good luck with your Skizik and against IS.